I want to tell you about a moment that completely changed my life. I was about 30 something, 4 years into marriage, and I'm staring at a pregnancy test, positive. And you'd think my first thought would be about the baby, right? Or about becoming a mom in this new chapter. But my first thought was, I haven't even started my life yet. If you've ever had the nagging feeling that you're still waiting for your life to kick in, let's talk about it.
Life happens while we're making plans. No dress rehearsals, we get no second chance.
Hi, I'm Kim. Welcome to my channel, the home of the Fly Girls, fearlessly living you. This is where we believe that it is never too late to become who you were born to be. Now, everyone may think that you've got it all together, but inside, you might have this nagging feeling that you're still waiting for your life to begin, your real life to begin. And if that's you, this video is definitely for you today. I remember staring at that pregnancy test and I realized that I wasn't just preparing for a baby. I was grieving for a version of myself that had never been allowed to exist. So let me tell you how I got there. Because I followed what I called the script. You know the one. Get the education, build the career, get married, be responsible, choose security over dreams, save creative stuff for hobbies. Don't be too much. Don't want too much. And here's the thing. I was living my life with my foot on the brakes and the gas at the same time. Like my heart was in full acceleration mode for my dreams, but my head was pulling back, saying, girl, be practical. So when my high school choir director, shout out to Miss Vallejo, told my parents that I had a gift that needed nurturing, the answer was, well, that's nice, honey, but you need to find something where you could make a living. So communication and marketing it was. And don't get me wrong, I was still using my natural gifts, but it was like putting them in a neat little package that the world deemed acceptable. So staring at that pregnancy test and my career still being under development, I was following the safe path I'd chosen, but I hadn't really begun yet. That's what made the moment feel so intense. It wasn't just, I haven't started living. It was, I haven't started becoming who I'm supposed to be, not even professionally. And that pregnancy test moment, it was a wake up call. It pushed me to finally start building something. So I created a consultancy teaching communication skills to professionals. I became known as an expert, the go to speaker, someone who helped others find their voice in the corporate spaces. And I felt pretty good about what I had built. But here's what I discovered. Even building success on your own terms can still feel like a prison if it's not the whole truth of who you are. The part of me that needed to use that gift that I'd been pushing down since college, it kept bubbling up to the surface. It kept me up at night. The part of me that had the messages beyond corporate training was being silenced by my own fear of being too much. I had experienced the absolute invigoration of moving an audience, but I was spending way too much of my time creating PowerPoint slides. And if you're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, that's me, I want you to know something really important. You are not alone. I never knew how many women shared the same struggles. So many of us are living in the waiting room of our own lives. Some are successful, accomplished, and have checked all the boxes, but we feel invisible in our own stories. And here's what I've learned working with hundreds of professional women. This isn't a confidence problem. This is an alignment problem. You're not ungrateful. You're not broken. You're not having some kind of midlife crisis. You're just finally ready to stop living someone else's definition of what your life should look like. Because here's the truth, nobody talks about this. There comes a moment, usually around our 40s, 50s, sometimes even 60s, when the cost of living someone else's version of a good life becomes higher than the risk of creating your own. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not stuck. You're just finally ready to begin. So, what happened to me? Well, the weight of all those unused gifts, it becomes unbearable when you know that they're a part of the reason for you being on this planet. And mine crystallized into a song, literally. I wrote about what I was feeling, this mantra to take control of my life. And I released my first single with basically a whispered prayer. If this is really a part of my purpose, please prove it. No promotion, no fanfare. I sent one song to one radio station, and within weeks it was in rotation across multiple stations because listeners kept requesting it. And for 9 months, that song played. I got requests for live performances. I was reaching people that I'd never met with a message that I almost never shared. And that's when I understood something that changed everything. The gifts we bury don't just hurt us, they hurt everyone who needed what we could offer. So I created what I now call keynote concerts, which is blending music, message, and motivation because I was done choosing who I was called to be with who I was trained to be by the world. And so those same skills that I teach in the boardroom, I share on stage, and they're not separate anymore. They're all helping women to stop hiding their full selves. But this breakthrough only happened because I finally asked myself this one question, this one question that shifted my mindset. And that was, at the end of my life, what would I regret not doing? And I want to ask you that same question. What would you regret not doing? That one thing is what you must do. And you may be thinking, oh my God, it's too big, it's out of reach, it's too hard. You may feel you don't have the resources or the connections or the know how. But I am here to tell you if it won't let you sleep, it's probably yours to do. And you may be saying, oh, well, what I want to do, there's so much competition. But I can assure you, no one can do it like you. And your people are waiting for you. Because listen, I haven't fully arrived, but I don't think that's the point anymore. The point is, becoming requires courage. And sometimes the hardest thing is to live the fullest version of yourself, especially when that version doesn't fit the script that you were given. But that's how you experience fulfillment and create impact in this world. I'm actually documenting this journey in a book I'm writing called Why So Many Professional Women Are Living the Wrong Life. Break free and reclaim your destiny. And honestly, your stories, your comments, your questions, they are shaping what goes into the pages. If you want to follow along as I write it, and get early insights into what I'm discovering, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And in the comments, I want you to tell me, what is that one thing that you keep pushing down? What's that gift that you've been afraid to let out? Because I have a feeling it's exactly what the world needs from you. Your real life is waiting, and it's never too late to begin. I'll see you next week.
I'm afraid I'm running out of time, wasting time on things I can't control. Too little time on dreams I hold. Life happens while we're making plans. No dress rehearsals. We get